I'm Brittany Trochet.
And I'm Tina Parker. And we are
Uniting Artists, here to collaborate, educate, and elevate. Let's talk all things film industry.
Let's do it. Join us on our journey as we highlight a uniting artist. Hey, y'all. It's Tina Parker with Uniting Artists Podcast. Today, Brittany Trochet is with me, and we have a guest that normally does not do this, but she said because it's me and Brittany, she's going to do it. It's Miss Andrea Royer, and she is our producer from Homestead, as well as many other things she's known for. She's got 15 IMDb credits, and as we know, that's not always accurate, so there's probably a lot more that we don't know. But welcome, Andrea.
Thanks, Tina. And you're right. I'm only doing this because it's you. I love and respect you too much to not give it a go.
Oh, big heart, big heart. Thank you. Well, we feel like we still have our training wheels on doing podcasts, but we find it's also kind of what we do. When we get people in our chair, we just talk to them and put them at ease. And so I appreciate you putting trust in us and letting us highlight you. As I was getting to know you over the last couple of years, gosh, has it been almost 2 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like it's been an 18-month journey since we first started the Homestead, pursuing Homestead the film.
Yeah. And there's many things with that terminology that is also in the works from the reality show. Tell us about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a reality show that basically shows people how to become a homesteader and what preparedness looks like. And it gives them the tools and just the information you need, because you see a hint of it in the film and in the series, but you don't maybe know how to put that into practice or how to start your journey as a homesteader or a prepper. So this show really focuses on how to grow your own food, how to start, what tools do you need, what don't you need, what's the basics of it, and it goes from there. So we're not totally hands-on. We were hands-on with the pilot just to get a jump start, but because we're so focused on the show, we just didn't have enough time to do both. So we have a fantastic team who spearheads that.
That's cool. Brittany and I were just talking about it. By the way, I accidentally told Brittany it was 11 o'clock. So we were here at 11. I'm like, where's Miss Andrea? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, let me check my text. I did. Yeah. That's why I use a booking agent for my salon. But Brittany and I were just talking and she's like, oh, I'm having to repack everything because of expiration dates, Brittany. Is that right? And
yeah, I really haven't looked at it since COVID, quite honestly, the pandemic. And as I started to open it up, a lot of the things kind of even expired in 2020, surprisingly enough. And then with my soy allergy, I realized there was a lot more things I was poisoning myself with back then, 6 years ago, that I didn't have the knowledge of vegetable glycerins and things like that. So I've been replacing a lot of items from hand sanitizer to food. And it feels really good just setting my future self up to win in something potential like that. So. But I'd love to check out that documentary. That's up my alley too.
Yeah, you just don't think about it because it's just not something you need to think about until you do.
Yeah, right? And it's like, oh, I have a map, but I don't have emergency blankets. So there's exposure, so just really combing through that list of what you do and don't need.
And what's happening in fires in LA, it really makes you even buckle down better, faster, because having your bug out bag, having your important documents ready to go out the door. Do they talk about that on the Homestead series is it like a reality show?
It is a reality show, but it's not happening in real time. So they're editing what they captured with experts in their own area. So they have different experts based off what they're discussing. Is it, prepping the land, prepping food? What is it? So it varies.
It's a big project to even think about putting your family stuff together. Mm-hmm. I want to go back to when sometimes we would go do the Liberty Loop, we called it. We'd go at Liberty Park. And I found out that you were a dancer and a cosmetologist. Like your journey until where we are today, like when you were in high school, what did you think your life was going to be?
Dancing. That's all it had been for so long, was dancing. So at that age, you're not thinking about the expiration date of that. But then when I got into my early 20s and I had an injury, I realized there's a real expiration date, so I need to get serious. But all throughout that in high school, I was always known as the girl who dressed weird or strange or out there. And, you kind of never knew what I was going to show up in. And fashion was always a part of what I did. So I started pursuing costume design, and I was going to go to school for that and just doing classes here and there. And then while I was a performer, I hadn't yet retired. I went to cosmetology school just so that I'd have something in my back pocket outside of dancing. And then when I officially retired from dancing at 24, I got a job as a assistant to a celebrity stylist. So I spent about 7 years running around LA doing red carpets and music videos and tours and appearances and commercials and whatever else they had. So that was where the arsenal came from.
That's so cool. I did not know that part
Yeah.
either. We went to the
Oh.
Fashion Institute. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, FITM. That's where I was gonna go with FITM. I was in and accepted, had the paperwork and my start date and everything. And then I actually got an opportunity to be an associate producer, and I felt like I couldn't do both. And so I just prayed about it, and I felt like it wasn't coincidental that the Lord opened that door in like the week I was supposed to start school. And so I decided to keep fashion as a hobby. And I'm glad I did, because costume design and fashion, now I can just enjoy it and I don't have to hustle for it. I can just be a part of it when I want to, or take a break when I don't. And it's just fun. And now I have something that it's kind of nice having something that you didn't turn into a career, and you could just have it for the pure enjoyment of it and without the pressure of it.
I think it's so funny. Like I did the same thing. I did my sketches and was accepted into FITM, and I didn't follow through.
Oh.
But I'd worked down at the Mart, and I'd worked in retail, and I thought fashion was my path as well. It's so funny, all three of us. That's so funny to
Yeah.
me. And yet you are the quiet one on set, but it's so nice to have a female perspective amongst the boys. And that you're one of the leaders, and to have a voice as a woman in a producer position, I think it's a great balance on set, and it's nice to see. And nothing against the men, of course, but it's just again about balance and perspective. And it's just great to have that diversity.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very I would say calculated. There's enough chaos happening that you're not going to be heard if you're just like jumping into the chaos. So I observe and I assess, and then I'll wait until there's a moment to uh say it when it lands right. Sometimes timing is more important than what you're saying, I've learned.
I like that. I like that. Listen to Miss Andrea, y'all. That's great advice.
Wise words.
Forward and here we are.
Yeah. And it just wastes people's time too, because if only two people need to hear it, I don't need to be saying it when there's 16 of us standing there. And so I just feel like I don't want to bog anybody else down with details, because everybody's juggling all their own things. And so if I can not add any additional stress or confusion by launching into something in the middle of a group that doesn't really need to be worried about it, it's just better if I can like silo some things.
Yeah, you're the strong
Absolutely.
silent type. That observation is very important, and you do. I feel like you have eyes on all of us, and you kind of sense if somebody does need that little extra help or talking to get through the day.
I'm gonna
I love
try.
that. No, you are. You're great at it. Tell
Oh,
us a
thank
little
you.
bit about how your collaboration and connection started with Ben Smallbones and the Cassicas. Like, how did you and
Yeah.
Homestead and the whole journey come about?
Yeah. So I actually met both Ben Cassica and Ben Smallbone at the same time. We were all we were a team that was built by another studio, Kingdom Story Company and the Irwin brothers. We had all crossed paths and worked with the Irwins on different projects. At that time, I wasn't in the narrative space. I was still doing documentaries, and I had a full-time job producing for an organization at that time, but they had loaned me out to the Irwins for a project, a documentary that had come through town. So I had met them through that, and they had a project coming around. I was also producing live events at the time. And they had just partnered with Lionsgate, and they were prepping a big keynote presentation that was going to announce the partnership with Lionsgate. It was going to announce their slate of films that was rolling out, and they hadn't done live events. And so they had a director, Ben Smallbone. They had a producer in Ben Cassica, but they needed somebody who could really manage a live show production. And so they needed a production manager slash producer. So they called me and said, "Can you just do this one off?" And that was the first time the three of us worked together. And since that time, we've been saying, we got to work together again. We got to come up with something. It took, that was 2019. And it took until it took 5 years for us to come up with a project together. That's the three of us. Ben Smallbone and I were a different story. After that event, the studio went on to work on a film called I Still Believe. It was starring Britt Robertson and KJ Appa. And they needed a second unit producer. And they were wondering if I would be open to doing it, if I could handle another side job in addition to my full-time job. Because they really liked how Ben Smallbone and I worked together in the director and producer chairs, and he was directing second unit. So I said, "Well, I've never done anything in that space." And they said, "You've been doing it for years. You just didn't realize it because the documentaries have a different name." And I said, "All right, well, if you're going to trust me with it, sure." So I went and did that. And Ben Smallbone and I, we call him Smallbone and Cassica. So I did that with Kingdom Story Company and Smallbone. And from there, the studio just kept offering Ben and I joint projects. And then other people started offering us projects. And we just ended up becoming a duo on everything we do. So that's been a 5-year journey.
And I think there's such strength in that. I was just talking with Brittany. There's some shows coming into Utah, and we want to go in as a team. And I think producers with experience have seen there can be, two sides of the trailer that don't get along, or one's not trusting or whatever. And having that peace and joy in a trailer makes a world of difference to me. And I know the actors also feel it. And that we can confidently switch out, like since she's a hairstylist and I do makeup too, that we can interchange there's an empty chair, let's just fill it and let's get them through and let's get them to set. I think that's efficiency and production friendly, if you would, and budget friendly, that we can do that. And that's part of doing non-union opposed to union, that we can do stuff like that. But yeah, you and the Bens, I met you, and I think I had asked you found my resume at the Film Commission, right?
I did, yeah. I was scouring high and low, and that's how I found you, was on that website.
That's cool. We've been talking to Paul Mitchell schools, and we were telling some of the students are like, "Well, what do we do? How do we contact people?" I'm like, the Film Commission has some great resources, and every state has it, and there's international ones. So following through on that, I don't know that I've ever known anybody that's bested a cast and crew like you guys did, though, because I think you told me once that you had interviewed face to face with 99% of the people for the said movie.
Yeah. Yeah. We went to town because we're in Nashville and Ben Casca's in LA, and we all went to Salt Lake City. We wanted to sit down face to face and meet people. And I think it's for two reasons. One is we wanted people to know that we were serious and real, because we're an indie production. We don't have big budgets. We don't have a lot of time, but we're working with a script that you probably need all of that. So we didn't want people to think we were just kind of, you know, dipping our toe in the water. Like this was happening. We were doing this, and we wanted people to feel the passion that we had, and just some emails and texts and phone calls. And I just don't think it does the trick. And so I also think we wanted people to know that we were invested in them, and uh, just as much as we were invested in the production, that each person we wanted a relationship with. And that's why, yeah, I think that's why we felt it was important to put a face to the name instead of just um Zoom.
Right, yeah, and I remember you guys sent me a pitch deck. You talked about who was tied to the project already with Neil, and the torch, as, Angel Studios likes to call their sizzle reel, I guess that it would be like, um, and the production value looked beautiful, but Brittany and I, sometimes you get contacted by these fake productions. I've even been contacted like, "Hey, we're doing a wedding, and I want you to do my daughter and everybody else, and it'll be at this hotel." And, they're, like, trying to get women to hotels,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's real. Or I think, Brittany, you've had some, or the film commission tries to watch out for those too, right?
Oh, I'm sure they
Yeah.
do. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
you never know out there anymore. It's
definitely
weird.
can't.
Yeah. I think the other thing too was um we're not just interviewing people. I feel like you guys should get to interview us too, because you're about to go into a battle zone, and you should know that these are people you want to fight alongside of. And so I always felt like we'd walk away from some interviews, like you specifically, Tina. We walked away and we're like, she's too experienced. She's so much bigger than we are. She's not going to want to do this with us. Like, we're going to have to find somebody who just like walked out of school, or they're just like trying to get their career started. Like, we were looking for people who were smarter and more talented than us in each of their areas. And uh, hoping that they would take us seriously enough to come on the ride with us. But it is a choice. Like, you know, to take a job where you're going to be away from family and friends and tired and hot or cold and hungry and worn down and overworked and underpaid, which is like probably 99% of the jobs. Like, if you're not doing it with people you enjoy doing it with, then how do you show up every day and not just get completely drained of life?
exactly, you have to have the joy in the workplace. When I met with you guys, I told you I punched out for a year. I'm like, I can't take this industry anymore. I'm feeling not valued and undervalued, and just seemed a lot of the divide. And that's how, of course, the lesson from that was starting Uniting Artists. But I felt the same way, and I tell people now, I said, I'm in a place in my life, and it's not because I have 10 jobs waiting for me or there's a larger job anywhere. I don't care about that. It's about the quality of people I'm working with, and that like you said, I get to choose who I work with, and I think we manifest, of course, those things. And so I was thankful and walked away from you guys going, "Wow, they're like, no ego." I think you had said something like, "Oh, we need people like you that have done a lot of episodic to help us." I'm like, "Oh, that's so sweet," you know? I truly felt, called to do this show, Homestead, from meeting you guys, and I felt like that was God was giving me that answer, like, "See, there are people that are worthy to work with, and you can build relationships and make some beautiful art." I know, Brittany,
Thanks.
I know you've,
Well, yeah, I mean, I wasn't handpicked by any means. I was definitely under you for that first little portion. So all I can do is say thank you for bringing me on, because you only knew me from one other gig at that point. But I feel like we worked really well together. And then, like we always say, we're with these individuals more than we are with our own family. And it really is how you collaborate and problem solve together, because you're right, it is a battlefield. And every day, every week will just get a little bit tougher, because we're spent, we're making magic happen a little bit on fumes. But I do think that you guys were always not there as just creative operatives, but true listeners and wanting to make the very best thing happen for everybody. And I think that that goes true and true. And it's a crazy terrain too, 400 acres of wildness, but it's really fun. And by the time you're done with it too, it's just, oh my gosh, I did it. I did it with these people. And I think it's really remarkable to be able to learn the crew, kind of figure out how people work, because then when you go back on that set, you're like, "Oh, I know how these camera guys go. I know how these producers work." And that familiarity, I think that that's what's really special about the film industry in Utah is we really are a collaborative family and we don't have a lot of egos. I can department head, I can key, I can day play. I'm just here to make it work, whatever your vision is. And if it's my vision, let's go above the line and see what your vision is to bring that together too. So I really have felt honored. And afterwards, I've been so excited to get back on that mountain with you guys again. Hopefully we can do it longer, but yeah, it was a great experience.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you guys walked away with that, because I know we walk away with that each time, but we also walk away feeling like we just let everybody down all the time. I'm like, I let this person down, I let this person down because we didn't have money for this, or we didn't have time for that, or we didn't have this or that. And I count all of the things that we couldn't do, because uh it's like having a family of 65 people and you just want to give everybody exactly what they need. And we're handicapped in so many areas. So when you have to spread it out, like sometimes everybody's compromising somewhere.
Yeah.
Because if you give somebody everything they need, then somebody else is gonna miss out. And if you give them everything they need, then that's gonna pull from somebody else, because like there is a bottom line, like that we can't it gets to a point of an impossibility on time and money. And so we're just trying to be fair and give every department exactly what they need so that they can be set up for success without tanking another department's success because we sucked it all into one area. And it's just a constant balancing act. And I walk away pretty much defeated every day because I feel like I let somebody down.
Well, and what's really funny on that note is another note that we were connecting with the future professionals is this idea of perfectionism. And on the artist side, we feel like we're letting everyone else down because it's like, oh, I should have gone in just a little bit quicker, or oh, I should have just made that wound a little bit this or that, or I should. And so I like to say that I should my pants and you shouldn't shed your pants. But yeah, you can't get in that world of shouldas and couldas. But it's really funny that you guys are feeling that same thing. We're feeling it for different reasons, but we're
Yeah.
just totally happy and just, in awe that we did it and pulled it off. And the teamwork really did make the dream work. But I just think that's kind
Yeah.
of funny that we both have similar thoughts and feelings. But
Yeah. We sit in that office every night. Everybody leaves set and we're the last ones standing, and we're just like having a postmortem every day of what we could have done better to serve the team so that they feel not just that they have like the physical things they need for the job, but just like the mental and emotional needs too. Like we take it all, like it weighs really heavy on the three of us, the Benz and I. Yeah.
well, I
Yeah.
bet above the line, the pressure is a little bit more intense, but maybe that'll give you some freedom to give some more grace for yourself that you're trying,
Yeah.
rather than because I feel like we do give grace to others, but we're not always willing to give it to ourselves. So maybe that'll be an opportunity, but I could see with
Yes,
a big
true.
responsibility that way, it does. I could see
Yeah,
that it could be a heavy weight to bear, but thank you.
we're
I'll
high
think about that.
we're high-fiving at the end of the day, like, "We got through it, Jamie!"
There's still 23 more days to go, so who knows?
Right? And I know we wanted to know with you producing music videos, series, features and documentaries now, what are you now kind of leaning into? What's your passion project? What do you really love doing out of those
Mhm.
genres?
I think, you know, okay, I like each thing for different reasons. I think what I love about a series is I'm a TV girl. I love TV. Like, I'm not somebody who just goes to the movies and watches movies. I love TV series. Like, you get to have friends in your living room for 6 seasons or 8 seasons, and it's like those people become like, the characters and you root for them or you're sad for them, It's like shows like This Is Us or Friends, like these are people that are in your house each week, and there's just something I love about that. Whereas, and you get so much time to develop these characters and these storylines, and you see entire lives unfold in front of you. Where a movie, it's like 90 minutes and then it's done. And series too, if it's a good series, you can watch it on repeat for a long time. All those shows are, so many shows are still on that everybody watches. The Office or Reba or Friends, or, those shows that you can watch on repeat. So I think I prefer the episodic space because we're getting time to develop characters, and, Homestead specifically, knowing where each character goes and getting to grow with the character as the actor dives in and brings them to life, and we dive in and bring them to life. It's, I think, a really interesting thing because you're learning about the character of real people, and you're diving into what somebody may or may not do in a situation, or what somebody wants to do in a situation, but they do something else because maybe they take the easy route. And so it causes a lot of internal discussions amongst you and your co-creators of how we think and how we feel, and it's just really interesting to build a life
and a story, and then
yeah
put it on repeat. I agree.
yeah but music videos are fun because there's really no rules. It doesn't even have to make sense.
It's true.
You can just
Art.
like
Art for art's sake.
yeah so you can just, it's a short film, 2 minutes and 30 seconds to 3 minutes and 30 seconds, whatever the song is, and it's just fun. And it's like 2 days of filming, and they're just fun.
I love
And
it.
I like how, on a show like ours, because there's twists and turns I can see coming up around the bend. And so we like to get the scripts and see where everything's going to be going, and if new characters are being brought in, who are you going to cast? And with Homestead, the movie that was released with the 2 episodes, those are you can watch those on the Angel app.
Mhm.
And did I hear right that because of the strikes of 23, did we end up doing a feature when it was supposed to be a pilot? What was the story
Mhm.
on that?
Yeah, so the movie is episodes 1 and 2 put together, and that was to accommodate, we were already on the ground. Do you guys hear me? Sorry, I just had to adjust my okay. We were already on the ground in Utah prepping, and then the strikes happened, and we could not get a waiver for a series, but we could get a waiver for a film. So we took episode 1 and 2, and they also thought it would just be an interesting experiment, like what happens if we release a pilot in theaters. I think we thought people would be more excited. As somebody who enjoys TV series, I would be excited because I'm like, wait a minute, that show I just watched or that movie I just watched, I could go watch it, more of it. Like, I could go home and spend some time in that right now. Where some people felt gypped by that. They're like, wait a minute, I just paid for this ticket, and now to finish a story, I have to pay again. But you do that with any sequel, right? Like, you don't buy the ticket to Wicked, and then it says the story continues, and then when the next part comes out, we're not all gonna tell the movie theater, "Well, we already paid for part 1, and we feel we deserve to be given part 2 to finish it." But what it told me is that people wanted to watch it that badly that they were agitated. Because they weren't complaining that they spent the money on something that wasn't good. They were complaining that they wanted to keep watching, and they
I want
felt
it more.
mhm.
Yeah, I felt that way too. I'm like, and I know that that we're in the works of coming back to do this
Yeah.
series. Not
Yeah.
official, but is it? Or we knowing it upset me. I'm like, wait, I want to watch more. I was really looking forward to getting to know more what was happening. So you guys did a great cliffhanger, and it kept me wanting more for sure. But I thought it was a strategic thing. That I thought you were starting like a new franchise idea of feature and then goes into episodic. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked on another one and I just don't feel like it was necessarily as received as well, that same
Oh,
formulation. So I know that it's very new. And I think that it was really cool and powerful that people picked up on that trend with Homestead and be like, oh, that's what we're doing. Okay, got it. And I think that it is going to be just the beginning of something very successful. And it's going to be a new way for people to tune in.
And
oh
congrats
yeah.
for Toot and bringing in the best money for Angel Studios, right? Is that correct?
I think we might be number 2 now under Sound of Freedom. I
Yeah,
don't know if we've surpassed Cabrini yet.
Kevin Lawson told us. We did Man
Okay.
Heaven, and he said that it was the second behind Sound of Freedom. And so big congrats to you guys and
Yeah.
for pulling off something. I don't know
Oh,
how you
thank you.
were able to get our SAG waivers during 23 at the last minute. I was like, oh, it's not going to happen this year. And then y'all let us know it was happening.
Yeah, it felt like I was in a like an insane asylum every day, just banging my head against the wall until something happened. Like getting that SAG waiver, we were going crazy in the production office. Just every day. Our hands were tied. All we could do was bother SAG. And I bothered them. I thought I was gonna be banned. They were gonna tell me, you're annoying, don't come back.
No, your diligence paid off, that's for sure. I had somebody ask me this question once, and it wasn't necessarily like in film. So just open the world to a blank a palette of wonder. If you could do anything without failure, what would you do?
Okay. I really love training hard and I love testing the limits physically and mentally. So I think I would do something like, I mean, they say it's impossible to be a Navy SEAL, but if that wasn't impossible, I would love the challenge of that. Or to be like an Olympian, like an Olympics ice skater or something, or gymnast, just something that takes a physical and mental, uh, like, what's the word?
Commitment. And
Yeah. Yeah. I like to train my mind and my body and push the limits of it. And I knew a Olympian once, and seeing her lifestyle and the word you use, commitment and discipline, and then to see the results of that is so impressive because it takes your whole mind, body, and spirit to pour yourself out like that.
yeah, and you can apply it into your everyday life. Again, the commitment and the um the focus, to have your eye on the ball that
Yeah.
much. But
Yeah,
I'm
the discipline of it and
disciplined,
just
yeah.
being able to push your limits. I'm not afraid to be uncomfortable, so I could put myself in challenges that would really test that. Because I'm like, I don't know, there's never been any challenge that I have removed myself from like that. So to test your physical and mental and emotional stamina in that way.
You just did on Homestead.
Yeah. Yeah, not far from it.
You know what? That again, it does take that commitment. This is not the easiest industry to be in and to start a new path in or start a new project. And, I'm coming onto projects when they're already, all the hard work's been done and I just show up and do my skills. But seeing something from the beginning to end like you're doing, it's you should be rewarded. And
Yeah.
it does reflect the physical and the mental, and um that you guys wanted this so badly, and that you again handpicked your crew and your cast, and you guys really wanted everybody to feel valued. I felt that with this show, and as I told you, I wish I didn't need the money. I just like hanging out with you and working with you guys because it's a different vibe than anything I've done in my 36 years.
Oh,
Very
well,
different,
thanks.
and it's part of why I wanted to come back to Utah. There's just a
Yeah.
collaboration, like Brittany said.
Yeah. I think there's pros and cons to being a small independent show. And we've been able to recap with some other people on the show, and even it was really hard some days, or even just some scenes were really hard because we were limited with resources and crew. But overall, people walked away kind of getting back to the roots of why we started this, and it is collaboration. And when you're on this huge union set, it's very siloed, and you only get to do and work in that one space that's been carved out for you, and you're not crossing paths with everybody on set because you're all so spread out and siloed. And there's certain things like you said, you could jump in one another's chair and like, hey, I'm gonna do your hair. Like instead of just sitting there and twiddling your thumbs, like what if you enjoy doing hair, but you're head of makeup, so you can't touch hair. And so it kind of it stirs up some maybe dormant skills that you haven't been able to use for a while. And I think um that's rejuvenating. And you get to work with people that maybe you wouldn't have got to work with before because there's 200 of you, but then when there's 55 of you, you're going to lean on one another. And it really did feel more like a it's like a small boutique operation
Yes, yes.
instead of a big corporation.
Yeah, and I like boutique hotels. I like boutique ski resorts.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
There's just an intimacy there and a trust, and we do become a family when we're working these long hours. And just to lean on somebody one day, or you forgot something, or you think somebody else might have something in their kit that can help the situation. We're all okay to, cross over and help out each other.
Yeah.
And it's fun to work like that again, definitely.
Yeah, we weren't sure because everybody in Utah, there is already an intimacy there because everybody works with one another. Like we felt like we were the outsiders coming in. Um, because everybody had worked together before, really, except for us and the actors. But then again, even some of the actors had come through there. Bailey and you had worked on a show before, so there was some familiarity with
Yeah.
most people. And we were like the odd men out. But everybody welcomed us.
I never thought of you guys as that. Well, it's so sweet and transparent that you guys were truly caring about everybody and worrying about it at the end of the day. We were just like, woohoo, we got through it.
Yeah.
And I never felt abused. I never felt, you know, that I was working too many hours. I think you guys did well on protecting the overtime and letting us have our turnaround. That's my biggest need when I'm working. My brain
Mhm.
does not work as well when it's not getting its sleep. So I think,
I'm going to send you a podcast I just listened to about the brain and how well, I'll just send it to you.
okay.
We
Yeah.
won't bore this podcast with me
Listeners.
doing expounding on somebody else's podcast.
And I think almost on every podcast, because I want this shame blanket to be taken off of everybody from age to what I call my letters, my ADHD, but my brain is definitely challenged when I'm not sleeping well, that I break things. I can cut my finger if I'm cutting hair, or like my body will keep going, but it's kind of a controlled chaos. So that is my biggest need. And of course, nutrition. I thought we'd had great catering, and too. We always appreciate good food.
Oh
Um,
yeah, a fed crew and a well rested crew is
happy.
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, and I love that we were up on that property. I hope they didn't think we were taking advantage, but it was really a beautiful place to be. And there was always a place to go if you were cold, or the bathrooms. And um, yeah, and it's just beautiful. I felt like it was a God thing when we were shooting that toward the end of the feature, and all the colors were on fire in Utah. And we were up on above the orchard, kind of toward the entry, and that shot out into the valley was just breathtaking. And so I think it's a great way that we are showcasing Utah, and great for people to come here and film.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. And I don't even think you have to be up in the hills where we're at to see that, because where I was staying was in like the suburbs, the city, and you still get to see that beautiful night sky and that sunset.
In the mountains.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So with genres, so you've done the documentaries, music videos, drama. Is there a genre or a story that you've always wanted to bring to life or thought about doing, about a dancer or anything that is close to your heart? Is there any like story you really want to eventually tell?
Um, yeah, but I don't want to share and then somebody else option the rights on it.
Copy that. No, 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 but that's good to know. That's cool. I think we all have like, oh man, like I would love to do a fashion week or some avant-garde music video, because I love that. Like when I was doing Glee, I loved all that creativity and, you
Yeah.
know, here's some ideas now, go create something. I love that.
Yeah.
And so I think having that hunger to keep doing something different. And I love that about our industry, that one minute we're doing, sci-fi, the next minute we're doing a documentary, whatever. I think it's really cool that we are comfortable being nomads and pivoting and still having a focus to be able to do this crazy job. Like my dad doesn't understand. He's like, when are you working again?
I know. I know. I would say, so there are two things. I would love to find a story that's like the next Sandlot or the next Now and Then. I absolutely love films about kids who band together under the same mission that they're all working towards together. And I don't know, did you see Now and Then? It was the four girls in the 60s.
No, and I
So,
guess that's
oh,
what my now.
yes. And then Sandlot, of course, which was filmed in Utah.
I know.
I
I work on it. I remember when it was here.
Yeah. But there's just something about that. When kids choose something they're passionate about and then they all chase it together. I just think it's maybe because I sort of remember being that adolescent and realizing like you can make a change and you can have dreams and you can chase them, that I'd love to find the next Sandlot type story. Little Rascals is that there's so many of those. The Babysitters Club, Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, just something like that. But then and I am developing one right now. It's a Christmas rom-com, very Hallmark, Netflix, and Amazon. Everybody's starting to do them now. Um, there is like the world needs these stories that are predictable, that make you feel good because we're stressed out enough. We don't need to be stressed out anymore. And so the world needs that. I have a friend who she is one of Hallmark's leading ladies, and we were having coffee just 2 mornings ago. And we're sitting there visiting, and this couple of ladies walk up and they're on their way out, and they said, "We don't want to interrupt." But one lady says, "I just need to tell you that I'm so thankful for the work you do because I really need that in my life." And um, she gets up and she's so sweet. She gives a lady a hug and she just starts talking to her about her life. And her friend goes, she needed a hug today. And so they talked. She didn't say what she was going through, but she's just going through something. And seeing that actress who brings joy into her home in real life, it meant so much to her. And she sat back down and I said, "See, the world needs Hallmark. There's just sometimes you need a bright spot in that day." I guess some people go get an ice cream cone. I go to Hallmark.
Milkshake. Yes.
So yeah, we're developing a Christmas movie like that, and I would love to contribute to that space. And just have something that people like. You can watch it on repeat. The really stressful, dark stuff. It's rare that you just turn it on and watch it on repeat.
Absolutely. I mean, that's like
Um,
actually at Christmas time, I love watching that. And you're going to film it in Utah?
I did put together a package for Utah. This one might have to go to Canada, but Utah's on the table.
Cool. I was reflecting back on how you could only get an incentive for a feature instead of like the pilot or whatever. I didn't know
The
that was,
waiver.
yeah. So it was the
Yeah.
way that
The waiver for the SAG strike.
yeah,
Because during the SAG strike, they were giving waivers to certain projects. But there was a whole bunch of different parameters that you had to fit into in order to be approved for the waiver so the actors could work during the strike. So that's what we had to make adjustments to pull off.
gotcha. It was one of the requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing, but I do know you were being very efficient trying to get that. And when I
Yeah.
was, yeah, I actually like, oh, this isn't going to happen. I really didn't, but I'm like, I didn't know you well enough then. I'm like, oh, she got her done. When you put your head to something. I was going to ask you what your 2025 looks like, but I know we're all in pins and needles for that and waiting.
I know.
And,
I
but
know.
but I know it is doing well. And with people I had given tickets to, they really enjoyed it. And like my mom went to the theater with her girlfriend and two ladies down. They're like, I really enjoyed that. That was a really interesting, that it was thought provoking, and there were conversations afterwards. I thought that's a good sign for entertainment, that it keeps you pondering and thinking. And I definitely need to get the bug out bag going.
I know, I do too. I do have one Uncharted bag, which I had that before they were even a partner in the show.
Oh, cool.
It was a gift. So it's like a 30-day bag.
Okay. Oh, really? For food and everything?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of our representatives. What do you call it? Our
Brand
sponsor.
partners. Yeah, brand partner. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, brand partner. And I think that is definitely a new way that, we're not selling necessarily dish soap. I remember working on Touch by an Angel, and Della's like, I'm just selling some dish soap because commercials. We're basically feeding her on Touch by an Angel. But the sponsors, Brittany's talked about that. She did actually 3 Hallmarks last year, and that was big thing was the brand.
Oh,
product placement. And
yeah, I mean, I've seen it. There was a Nutella one. I was watching this Christmas movie, and they had like 3 Nutella jars, like basically right in the foreground, like in your face. Like all you could see is Nutella, Nutella, Nutella. I was like, well, somebody's selling Nutella.
yes. Exactly. It's like they're sponsoring us and they're sponsoring us. And
no, these brands are meant to equip people. So these are brands that will actually help people on their own journey of preparedness.
And
so
how long
it's not frivolous.
is it? Have an expiration date of 10 years, or how does that work?
I don't know.
I remember as we live in Utah, a lot of people do the food storage here and basements and fill things up, and understanding expiration dates, or somebody might have had a baby and they had diapers still, but now that person's 14. And
oh yeah,
I think it's really important to think along those lines. Okay, I have some rapid questions for you. Ready?
okay.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee, but okay, I love coffee every day, but I love a tea party when there's like a tea set. There's a little place here in Franklin, like 2 blocks over from my office, and you actually get the full teapot with a teacup and saucer. And in that space, I will always order tea instead of coffee.
Oh, that's sweet. It's more of a social drink for you there. Mountains or beach?
Mountains.
Favorite season: spring, summer, autumn, winter, fall?
Autumn, fall.
Autumn, fall. Book or movie?
Probably a movie.
Do you do books on audio and stuff?
No, I like to read. I do read regularly, but I definitely put more time into watching things into reading. But I do I will read pretty much all of Nicholas Sparks' books.
Aw,
Yeah.
cute. And what was your last book that you read?
Black Beauty.
Aw,
Yeah, I just felt like reading something classic.
I love it. If you could travel anywhere, that you haven't been maybe, or maybe you have, but where would you like to?
Um, I have not done an African safari yet.
I'm probably doing one this year. I have to tell you
You
about.
are?
My girlfriend does wildlife photography,
Oh, that's
and they do
amazing.
safari. Yeah, and they're incredible people. They're philanthropists, and they help the animals in, the poaching that's happening. They're really trying to
Yeah.
protect the animals.
Yeah. I talked to Ben about that before. Disney has their Discovery Channel. I don't know if you've seen on the Disney Plus app, and they have all their nature shows. And I said, why don't we just go shoot something like that? And just, it's so beautiful and it tells a story. And this particular one I was watching was following uh, uh, a lion family. And I thought, what if we just go document lions for a year? I think it would
I
be
need to hook you up with Christina. She's got her own series, I think, on YouTube channel now.
fun.
I'll hook you up with her and show you what she's doing. You guys might be able to collaborate.
Yeah.
What's your favorite hobby to unwind? Do you like your walking, or what's your favorite way to unwind?
Um, two things, probably TV and working out. I do both equally.
That's a nice.
Yeah, it's a balance. Can't
Yeah.
just be a couch potato and watch TV, but I actually really enjoy movement. So whether it's um functional fitness and weightlifting or Pilates, I do all of it.
Fun. We'll have to do some stuff when you get back here. Dogs or cats, or both?
Dogs, I don't do cats.
City lights or starry nights?
Stars.
Yeah,
Mm.
nice from the mountains. And what's your favorite comfort food? Mine's a milkshake.
Oh, is it?
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think I've ever had a milkshake with you. Really anything Italian. Just like give me cheese and sauce. So if it's pizza or spaghetti with a bunch of Parmesan, like they bring the Parmesan to the table
Yes.
and they like tell me when to stop. Like I don't want to tell them when to stop.
I've got a big bin of it in the fridge right now. I love that.
Yeah.
Pasta, yum. And then on your bucket list this year, maybe safari. I mean, what is there something you have on your schedule, or is it too full now with Homestead?
I mean, I'm just planning like homesteads happening. That's what I've done the last 2 years. I did it for the movie and I did it for the kickoffs of the series. And I'm just banking on that. So right now, uh we're still working full time. We have 2 projects in post that we're finishing. But I am able to kind of get some of this rehab done and get into tip top shape to go back into filming Homestead. So I'm just working like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm walking in that faith too. And
Yeah.
yeah, working on that mountain, you need to be a little bit sturdy on your feet. I don't think you have to be like athletic, but even just standing on a hill all day or walking
Yeah.
on uneven terrain, to be safe, I feel like it's important to have your body at least toned in that you can
Yeah.
fall correctly.
I think it's the altitude too. We're at 6,500 feet, I think.
Yeah, that's right
So
there.
we're up there. And there's just lots of running, moving quickly. I wouldn't say like a run, but you know what I mean. We're moving swiftly to get to point A to point B.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you just have to carry stuff because you're on a slope that nobody's gonna push it up in a cart. So but I always feel good like when I leave there. It's not like those jobs where maybe you've just sat in a chair for weeks and no, I feel good.
Yeah, I like movement too. My body's happier moving. Well, hopefully we'll see you back here in Utah sooner than later.
I
And
know.
I can't
Almost just booked a trip for Friday.
Really?
Yeah, I'm missing Utah.
It's not as much snow as we want. I think it's we'll get some more towards February.
Have you
But
been skiing a lot?
I went to Colorado. I went New Year's Eve. We went around there, and I'm a diva skier. I like that pretty blue sky and some packed, groomed slopes. So I'm waiting for that.
You don't look like a diva skier. You look like a pro. Like you look like you run with the boys. Like your athleticism and your confidence out there. You don't look like a fancy diva. I mean, your clothes look super killer.
That's what's
Your
important.
Yeah, your fit is like, dang, I want to get into skiing just so I could buy things that looks like that.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate your time today and for trusting to come on to the podcast and share some of your life. And there really wasn't much I could dig up on you. So thanks for opening up our minds. And I really appreciate your heart. And as a leader for Homestead and running with the boys, I think you're a beautiful asset. And I'm happy and excited to call you my friend.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. That's why I did it, because we're friends.
Yeah, you're a sweetheart. I owe you.
Oh, no, no, I owe you.
Oh,
I'll
all
get
right.
you a milkshake when I'm
Yes,
back.
that's all I need. I do have a problem with him. Milkshakes. It's really a problem.
Oh, well,
All right,
good to
listener.
know. All right.
All
Talk to you
right.
later.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, y'all, join us next week as we highlight another uniting artist.
And remember, when artists support artists,
Everyone
everyone prospers.